When I was young, I didn't know anything about real Chinese food, and I wasn't familiar with the real Chinese cuisine. You see, I was adopted when I was just 1 year old and grew up in the Netherlands. You might know Dutch food is the complete opposite of Chinese food. I experienced this firsthand when I went to China and found my Chinese birth family last year. And I was met with so much love, hospitality, and of course, food. Because for the Chinese, food is their love language. It's their way of expressing love and their way of welcoming someone. In my situation, their lost daughter. I learned that food is something that can bring people together, bring worlds together. And for me, it means reconnecting with my culture. So that's what I plan to do in this video. I'm going to take you along with me trying out different Chinese recipes and one recipe recommended by my Chinese sister. So let's start with going to the Asian supermarket. Yes, we have those in the Netherlands. Thank you, globalization. So we start with scallion pancakes. For this you will need spring onion, all-purpose flour, oil, salt and chili oil, my favorite laukan ma. And we start with the all-purpose flour. You will need about 250 grams of all-purpose flour in total. I added 160 milliliters of hot water. And I mixed everything and I tried to knead it with my hands into a ball. And as you see, I struggled a lot, but somehow I managed to get a ball out of it. I then wrapped it in plastic foil and let it rest for 20 minutes. Then I grabbed the scallions and I chopped it up into small pieces. I made a mixture of 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of flour, a quarter tablespoon of salt, and also some multiple tablespoons of chili oil. I also added some sesame oil because I just like the taste of it. And then you mix. So usually you also need a rolling pin, but I didn't have that, so I had to be creative and I just used a glass bottle. I unwrapped my ball and I tried to knead it again to spoon it out. As you can see, I think I made my ball too dry. It was kind of falling apart and crumbling. I also added some oil to even smooth it out more and I started to roll it out. As you can see, my dough wasn't really working with me. So according to the recipe, I had to roll it into a thin rectangle, but as you can see, I couldn't. Then I added the mixture. And I also added the scallions. So this would be a challenge because now I had to roll this dough into a burrito, but somehow I managed. So I was quite proud of myself. Then I chopped it up into small pieces and each piece will be the individual pancake. And then I flattened them. And I just repeated this for all the individual remaining pieces. Then I heated up a pan and then I started to fry them on medium heat. I also made sure to flip them over in time. I cleaned up my table because it was really needed, and then the pancakes were served. And although they were quite thick, I actually really enjoyed them and I really liked them and they were delicious. You could really taste the scallions and also the chili oil, and of course I needed some more chili oil to dip. Second recipe, Mapo Tofu. For this you need tofu, meat, scallions, chicken bouillon, Sichuan peppers, garlic and ginger, and some sesame seeds. First I drained my tofu and I cut it into small pieces. Then I boiled some water and added tofu for about 2 minutes. Then I chopped up my ginger and garlic. And I checked on the tofu, and once it's done, I drain it and put it aside. Then I started to cook my meat. And these Sichuan peppers, if you never had them, they are really different compared to regular chilies. It's like a mouth-numbing sensation and also very intense. And when you inhale it, it just, I don't know, it's so interesting. I added the ginger, garlic and scallion to the pan. And I started to fry up everything together. I added water, chicken bouillon and salt. And let it cook for a bit. Then I added the tofu. Bruh. And let it simmer. So usually you eat this with rice. We still had some leftover rice in the fridge, so I grabbed that. So actually I forgot one key ingredient, which is red bean paste. And usually this red bean paste gives it this unique deep red color. So instead I used chili oil. And I think this chili oil was a good substitute because it also gave it its red color and some extra flavor. But yeah, next time I won't forget the red bean paste. I topped it with some sesame seeds. And it actually tasted pretty good. I can't feel my tongue anymore. Yes, it's really a mouth-numbing weird sensation in your mouth. But just, I think the food was good because Ruben finished his whole bowl and he really enjoyed it. Recipe 3. Dumplings. Jiaozi. Dumplings are my favorites actually. I use ground chicken, broccoli stem, carrots, leeks, scallion, onion, egg, ginger and garlic, soy sauce and of course dumpling skins. So I usually just start cutting all the vegetables into small pieces and put them together in a big bowl. And as for the broccoli stem, you can also use cabbage, which is a very common ingredient to use, but I still had these broccoli stems in my fridge and I had to use them, so I thought why not use those. Yeah, making dumplings always equals making a mess. So I grabbed the chicken and I tried to ground the chicken even more with a knife. Actually, this is a very satisfying thing to do. Then I added it to the vegetables and I also added one egg. And then I mixed everything together with my bare hands. I added some salt and some pepper. And of course I cleaned my table again. So I then grabbed my dumpling skins and a bowl of lukewarm water. I will explain why you need this water later on. And then you start to fill your jiaozi. So as you can see, I used the water to dip my fingers and then I watered the edges of the dumpling skins, which make sure they actually stick together and they don't fall apart. And then I start from the middle, then I slowly work towards the end of it and I just fold it each time. And I just use my fingers to fold it and then voila, you have a small dumpling. I think the filling part is actually the most exciting thing about making dumplings. It's just very satisfying to see all the dumplings you wrapped yourself and I don't know, it's just kind of relaxing and usually you do this with your family or friends. And I actually, as you can see, made way too much filling. Then I grabbed a pan, I fried the dumplings on medium heat. I first added some oil and then I put all the dumplings inside it and after a few minutes I also added some water to steam them. And then I covered the pan with a lid. I also added some sesame oil. I always like to go for this crispy bottom. And once they are crispy, once they start to turn brown, you know they are ready. And now you can serve. Look at that, it's so delicious. Okay guys, I am actually pretty excited to try out these dumplings. I think they look great and I'm also really hungry, so let's eat. So usually I like to eat my dumplings with soy sauce, so I have here my soy sauce. Another nice combination is mixing it with lau gao ma, which is also a very good one, and I'm also going to try that one. So yeah, let's dig in and let's pick a nice one. Look, I like it when they are crispy on the bottom. Let's dip it. So it's still very hot. They're good. Also, I made a picture and I sent these dumplings to my Chinese mom via WeChat, and she said that I made them very great and that I am a great dumpling maker, so yes, points for me. How do you say bon appetit in Mandarin? Does anyone know, is there a way to say bon appetit in Mandarin? Because I don't know. I do know how to say delicious, which is 好吃. So yes, these jiaozi are 好吃. Recipe 4. Tomato egg stir fry. This recipe was actually recommended by my older sister in China. And I used scallions, 3 tomatoes, 4 eggs, salt and pepper, sugar and some ketchup. So I started with chopping up the vegetables, the spring onion and also the tomatoes. I cracked up the eggs and whisked them together. And I added salt and pepper. I then fried the scallions, only half of them, and I added the tomatoes. I added some salt and some ketchup. I also added the sugar. I also added a mixture of flour and water to thicken everything. And then I put the tomatoes aside. And I started frying up the eggs. I tried to make a scramble out of it and only scrambled them halfway. I then added the tomatoes and the remaining scallions. Then I served, and actually it looked pretty good. So I was speaking to the camera here, but the camera didn't pick up my sound. But yeah, I said that it looked pretty good and I was very excited to try it out. I really liked the texture and I really liked just the combination and the taste, and also it was really sweet. And of course I made scrambled eggs before, but this way it's really different. Very simple, yet delicious. Also Ruben tried my dumplings and he approved them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time in my next video. Bye!